before I start this video, I'd just like to say that only 1.3% of the people who watch my videos are subscribed. So if you want to appreciate this channel, please hit that subscribe button. Okay, so welcome back to another video. Do you notice anything different? That may be because I am now doing a voiceover for these videos. Yes. So, into the video. So we have right now I'm building the main section for the beginning base of my Dres Canyon Resort and Spaceport, which is loosely modeled after Matt Lowndes' Minmus Hotel and Casino, I think. And so I took inspiration from that. Instead of building one that looks similar, I'm building a multi-section colony in the Dres Canyon. And so this is the spaceport, which will have a mining rig and a refueling arm. However, the arm, spoiler, did not actually work. When I would reload the quick save that it was in, it would just glitch and it would all be clipped together and broken. And so I don't know why this is. It might have been because I did a weird offset of the parts, which you may see soon. But yeah, I don't know what happened. Now we're building using the radial attachment ports because I did some cheeky offsetting of the docking ports on those radial engines, which are for deorbiting the actual base. And I tried many iterations of this base, but not many of them actually worked. Originally, it was going to be a really tall spire base and anchored to the ground using a ground anchor port and a docking port. However, that did not work because it just was not able to securely and easily maneuver down into the canyon and would rip itself to pieces. And so now you see me building the arm that I was talking about earlier, and the rotational servo that was at the bottom, that was offset, and so I think that could be the cause of the problem. Yeah. Now I'm just putting up the mining rig so that I can make sure that it's not too much clipping into the middle, because I don't want it to look like that. I prefer the theme that they're like integrated into the side fuel tanks and ore tanks. And so eventually I'm going to have to replace one of those ore tanks with one of those the ore converters, because that's how you make the fuel. So yeah, I'm now just putting in monopropellant tanks so that if ship has monopropellant tanks, I can refuel it, not because this thing actually has any monopropellant thrusters, because it doesn't. It just has a couple reaction reels and of course like 3 big crew modules. And now right here I'm building 2 docking ports. One will have the rover that brings tourists away from the launch pad when they land, because this is a resort and spaceport, so it'll bring them to the main building, which will be released in a future episode. However, it did not work. When it got close, I think it interacted with the landing gear strangely, and the landing gear just shot it like away into the canyon, and it never worked. And I don't know why that is. I tried like retracting the landing gear to give it space to move, but it did not like that. So I think I'll have to, with my HQ section, which I'm launching next, I will probably launch a replacement rover. And now you just probably saw me build the communications relay, which is a small communications relay for the base until the HQ can come along, which has an assortment of just communications equipment. However, that won't be launched in this video, because otherwise, if I launched all the segments of the base in this video, it would take a very long time. This had over 4 hours of footage, which I had to time lapse, and it's still 30 minutes long. If I had included all the parts of the base in this video, it would have taken probably 2 hours at least of footage time. Also, I did pre-launch a ship to the Dres Canyon already to mark out where I want to land, so you'll see it there. Now I'm going to build, I'm not going to show it, but I did build this enormous, this is the Heavy Lifter 1. It has way too many kilonewtons of thrust, and it has the capacity to lift cargo sections into orbit with nuclear transfer stages. And now it gets very unwieldy when it gets into orbit. So, yeah, probably because of how it's a great big mass, and it has almost no reaction wheels or CS thrusters to keep it in line. So that could be the cause of that. Now we're just coasting up to apoapsis to circularize, and it takes quite a while. So I frequently use bursts of engines to correct the inclination of the rocket. Now we're circularized, I think. Yeah, we're circularized. And so now I'm going to, circularize. What? Oh yeah, I don't know why I did that retrograde burn. Yeah, this ship, the launcher, has a tendency to rip itself to pieces, so I have to throttle up without going full throttle immediately. But as you can see, now we've exposed the whole base, and now I'm just getting a Dres transfer window. And so coming into this, I had no experience whatsoever with transfer windows and getting encounters with planets. But now that I know how to easily, and so I think that was a good learning experience. But also, I was very foolish. I did not install better time warp, and so many of these burns, as you can see, this burn took 10 minutes to execute, and so I was stuck just watching. I was just waiting, doing nothing for 10 minutes at a time. And earlier on, when I was doing earlier iterations, I wasn't as good, so I had 15 or 16 minute transfer burns, and that did not go well. So you can be assured that I'm definitely using better time warp in future videos for this base. And so I decided to have the transfer stage shed fuel tanks when it uses the fuel in them, just so that I can conserve a bit of delta V and get the most out of what I have. Making sure that I can be most efficient. And in that transfer stage, I ended up with a lot of extra delta V. But why that happened? But that's fine with me, because I'm going to be using this transfer stage for all the modules, and I'm not sure how heavy the other ones are going to be. So this is just making sure it works. And so once I get into Dres orbit, I start my retrograde burn way too late when I get into Dres orbit, as you will see. But right now we're just doing some mid-course correction burns, or not even mid-course, just correction burns of around 800 delta V, which is quite a lot, but I have plenty of delta V. I still have an enormous amount of delta V in the transfer stage without all those radial fuel tanks. Now I'm just getting my encounter. I'm using maneuver nodes just to plan out where I need to go, but it takes so long with the maneuver nodes that but also the I was not able to get very accurate information on where my orbit would be because with the maneuver nodes, and I think that's just a common glitch. I've seen other YouTubers have that problem, and so we sort of have it's like this, but then as soon as we get into orbit, or no, it didn't happen this time, I don't think, but yeah, it did. My orbit clicked into the terrain, and that's not right. But then as I mentioned earlier, I started my retrograde burn way too late, and so I'm already starting to exit the sphere of influence of Dres. However, it doesn't really matter because my escape from its gravity well is still only 2 days away, so I think 2 days of burning would have been sufficient. Oh. Huh. I don't remember that. Okay. Now we're just continuing retrograde burn. I don't know what that quick save, what ripped that apart. That's confusing. Okay, but we're almost in a stable orbit. The stable orbit for Dres, the orbital speed is like 100 or 200 meters per second. So I come in at like 1,500 meters per second, and I end up having to slow down by a lot to get into stable orbit. And so I opted for a highly elliptical orbit, so then I can get a good I can get a easy I have more chances to get a orbit into the Dres Canyon. And so I failed a couple of times, I think, or no, this was the iteration that actually worked for the first time. So those 4 radial engines, as I said, so those 4 radial engines are they're a cheeky design. They when you undock them, and we're landed. So hooray! Now I'm just getting myself to a better spot that's a bit flatter. But those radial engines, I undock them, and they each have a probe core. So I undock them, and then I just slam them into the sides of the canyon, so they don't stay there, because I don't want those on my base. Now I'm just docking. These ships are what I call star hoppers. They're the main transportation around the Dres Canyon. Oh yeah, so it fell off, didn't take any damage, and now you're going to, I think, see me get into. Oh yeah, I'm replacing the Blue Jay Enterprises flag, and I'm instead planting the Dres Canyon Resort and Spaceport flag. And yeah, all the flags in this channel that I've made so far are all made with Adobe Logo Maker, I think, and because it gives them a nice, clean look, and I don't have that much imagination, so yeah. And now I'm just trying to get it on top of the base of my little ship, but did not work. And so I end up trying this a couple of times. It did not work at all. So I ended up opting to land it next to it and have the grabby arm just lock onto it. But I decided, well, in the end, I think this base will need a second section that will have a replaced arm, because the arm, I can in a future episode you'll see it all glitched together, and it broke, and I don't know why it broke, but it just did. So the Kraken resides in the middle of this planet, I think. But you can see me trying to use the arm to grab the little star hopper, and yeah, a couple failed attempts ensued, but I eventually got close enough where I could dock. But yeah, and right here I land right next to it, so that's nice. But yeah, if you can see that little rover on the side of the base, that's docked not very realistically. It's sort of at a slant. I'm going to transfer someone into it now, I think. Oh no, this is the relay thing. I think I had to get one of the Kerbals out to have them push the relay thing, because it doesn't have any internal reaction wheels, and yeah, it was quite annoying because it's very heavy on one side, because it has that big relay dish on the back and then nothing on the front, so it's not very well balanced. But eventually I was able to get it to lay. Yeah, see, it's all good. Now now I think I'm going to, I'm retracting those landing struts so that I can then deploy the rover, which doesn't work. And I think you'll probably see what happens now. I don't know how this happened or why this happened, but it just did. So like, I go out, I back up, and I'm prepared to just dock with the docking port below there, as you can maybe see on the station. And then all of a sudden, I go close to it, and then boom, and I don't know what happened. And it really doesn't make sense why that happened. So I just had, luckily before I did that, I had a quick save, and so I was able, now I'm just detaching the little radial boosters and crashing them into the walls of the canyon, as you can see. And I think, now I just get Jebediah back in. And so, mistakenly, I put Jebediah and Bill here, so I had to send a whole mission to recover them after this video. And that was annoying, because I want to keep them for the whole series, but I don't want them to just be stuck here on the Dres. So, now I'm just launching it off, and all the debris goes elsewhere. Nowhere close to this base. And it took me a while to think of this, and I was thinking of radial decouplers, but they always leave some sort of residue behind, like the hydraulic detachment manifold. It has those two little lines on it, so I just opted for this design. It wasn't the most, it was a bit cheaty, so and I really should have put reaction wheels on that relay rover, because it flips over way too much, but it's fine. And see, now Jeb gets launched out again, and foolishly I put a flag over the doors so Jeb can't EVA out and escape. So in the end, it's a problem, but luckily I was able to save Jeb from a horrible death. Now we're just, I don't know what I'm doing, but I guess I'm trying to make sure that none of this is I just jettisoned the rover. I knew it was hopeless by then, I think, so I just jettisoned it. And I put way too many lights on this thing, spotlights and illuminators, everything. And so when I turn the lights on, it induces 2 FPS. And whenever I turn them off, it immediately smooths up the game. Now that I've deployed the drills, I can start making ore, and so all's good, as the quick save says. So now I'm just sort of looking for something to do, and at this point I yeah, I started the liquid fuel and oxidizer, ISRU, and now I'm going to do a thumbnail, but for some reason, I just kept on switching to the rover, and so the solution was just to drive it away until it gets to a sufficiently uphill place, and then it just stops. So I guess it'll be a relic of history, the failed rover. I don't know. Now that we have it's slowing down, but there's no crew and there's no probe core, so I can't brake with it. So once I got it, I quickly switched to the Starhopper 1, and now I'm just trying to get a thumbnail for the video. I'm now, sunrise in the Dres Canyon, yay, because I don't really see it that much. Well, I mean, obviously, it's a canyon, and most of the day, it's not exposed to the sun. Also, you might have noticed, I'm not using, any visual mods besides Waterfall. That's because I just don't have the GPU to run them. I may be getting one soon, but until then, I won't be able to get any graphics mods because my computer just won't run them. So, and back to what's on screen. So the Starhopper 1, it took quite a bit of persuasion and flying around to get it close, but eventually it did get close to the base. And also, I think at the end of this series, I'm going to send I sent the launch pad. Next, I'm going to send HQ. Then I'm going to send the tourist, the resort part, which will have a swimming pool, air quotes, and then it'll have also some residential areas, and that's a problem, but it'll have some residential areas, and then once that is landed, I'm going to send a ship to send some Kerbals there, and then at the next episode, I'm going to send another ship, and that's going to pick up the people who don't work at the resort, and that's going to pick them up and bring them back to Kerbal. And then, this will be its own little outpost from then on, I guess. And I struggled greatly with getting the Starhoppers next to each other. Eventually I got it, but it took quite a lot of effort and hard work. So, and then in the end, all I did was flip it up and then just have everyone get out with the lights on, foolishly. So I had bad FPS with all the Kerbals out, and getting all the Kerbals back in was a nightmare. They were all out there. Finally landed it in a suitable spot. Now I have to get to a sunrise, turn on all the lights for the cockpits, but not all the lights for the actual ships. But then I realized, hey, I want to turn on all the lights for the ship and get good illumination. And so, I just didn't get good, I got good illumination, I think, and I got the sun, but it just didn't work. Now out here we have Bill, and he's trying to write the little rover, and I don't know why it's behaving, but it just is. I don't understand it, and so at this time I encountered the rover again because I reverted to a quick save where it was still rolling down, and so now I have to wait again. And this one took a bit more of a destructive approach. It blew up the back. It still has some of it on, but it's going to slow down, I think. Although I might recall that it Yeah, it went down, and it took a while to slow down. For some reason, it went much farther than the previous rover, and so, yeah. I actually encountered some surface feature, and so, yeah. But now the rover's gone. Now, Bill is getting back in, and, yeah. And, ouch. Painful, but Kerbals are very durable, so he was able to handle it. Now we're just having the rest of the Kerbals get out. We have Jeb, and then I think, yeah, I don't remember the names, but I think Bob and Valentina were left at home. I don't know why. Yeah, this is Helltop Kerman, I think. Then we have Ludden Kerman. Yeah, the playback window isn't very high resolution, so I can't read the small text. And I can't even read this name. So let's call her Kagan. But either way, they're all lined up. We got this nice shot, and then I realize, hey, I want all the lights to be on. So I get Kagan back, turns on the lights, and you can see visually that the time lapse slowed down, and I didn't do anything about that. The time lapse is the same speed. It's just because I'm getting bad FPS, it looks like it's slower. And so now I'm getting the thumbnail, and it looks really nice, don't you think? And yeah, I just quickly clip into the ground, and I don't know why. Yeah, I'm capturing there, and now we've got thumbnail. And so, yeah, that's it. Now I'm just boarding everyone, and we're nearly done. So if you haven't already, please like and subscribe. It helps out a ton. It took a lot of effort to make this video, and I'll hopefully be able to make future videos like this too. So yeah, just enjoy everyone getting in. Jeb and Bill, they're gonna stay out because they're waiting for their ride. And so, yeah, that is where I leave you. And if you have any ideas for future craft, just leave a comment down in the comments below, and describing the craft you would like to see, and I'll check it out. Thanks. Have a good one.